بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you, my students? I hope that you're happy and healthy and ready for today's lesson, which is the expansion pages 64 and 65. First, we'll take the language review. Of course, all the expansions are exercises, so try to keep up on writing. The first exercise for today, circle 4 or 2 to complete each sentence. Again, circle exercise G, of course. Circle 4 or 2 to complete each sentence. We have 6 sentences, but before we read them, let's revise this part of the grammar, 2 and 4 before indirect objects. So if you remember the direct and the indirect objects and how do we use 2 and 4, we'll revise it now so we can answer the question. 2 and 4 before indirect objects. We use 2 if the indirect object is receiving something. We use 2 if the indirect object is receiving something. We use 2 with these verbs. Bring, confess, give, hand, lend, offer, pass, pay, promise, read, sell, send, show, take, tell, and write. So we use 2 with these verbs. For example, here, will you pass a pillow to me? Will you pass a pillow to me? So to me, I'm the indirect object. I'm receiving the pillow. Or can you pass the salt to me, etc. Note here the preposition to is not used when the indirect object comes before the direct object. We don't use to if the indirect object comes before the direct object. It's the same example here. Can you pass me a pillow? Can you pass me a pillow? Or can you pass the pillow to me? So if the indirect object comes before the direct object, we don't use the preposition to. Regarding the for here, we use for if the indirect object is benefiting from some kind of help. So we use for if the indirect object, notice here that it's all related about the indirect object. When he's receiving something, we say to. When he's benefiting, he gets some help from someone, we use for. We use for if the indirect object is benefiting from some kind of help. We use for with these verbs: book, build, buy, cook, find, get, keep, leave, make, order, and reserve. For example, here, my parents bought a new TV for me. A new TV for me. I'm not receiving the TV. They bought it for me. So I'm benefiting here by getting the TV from my parents. Note the preposition for is not used when the indirect object comes before the direct object. Same as to. If the indirect comes before the direct, we omit the preposition. His parents are buying him a new TV for his graduation. With some verbs, the indirect object always follows the direct object, and the preposition for cannot be omitted. Answer, cast, change, close, fix, open, prepare, pronounce, and translate. Can you please translate the program for me? So here we cannot omit for. So getting back to the exercise here, now that we have revised this grammar 4 and 2, let's answer the questions here. Circle 4 or 2 to complete each sentence. Number 1, he bought a gift to each contestant. He bought a gift for or to each contestant. So a gift here is the direct and each contestant is the indirect. So do we use for or to? Are they receiving or benefiting? So number 1 is yes, he bought a gift for each contestant. They are benefiting from him for the gift. Number 2, then he gave a gift for or to each contestant at the end of the episode. Again, then he gave a gift for or to each contestant. We're talking about one by one. at the end of the episode. So number 2 is obviously 2. They are receiving the gift now. They are receiving the gift now. Number 3, could you lower the thermostat for me to me? Could you lower the thermostat for me or to me? So yes, it's for me. I'm benefiting a help from my friend by asking him to lower the thermostat for me. Number 4, could you also hand the phone for or to me? Hand the phone for or to me? Yes, to me. I'm receiving the phone now from you. Number 5, our teacher pronounced the word for to us. Our teacher pronounced the word for or to us. So, yes, that's correct. For us. Our teacher pronounced the word for us. He's helping us. Number 6, then she gave the worksheet for or to us. Yes, to us. She gave, and we received. She gave the worksheets to us. Next here, change the position of the indirect object in each sentence. Add for or to. So we'll change the position of the indirect object. Then we will add for or to. For example here, please pass me the salt. Please pass me the salt. So we changed the position of the indirect object. We said, please pass the salt to me. Please pass the salt to me. So this is changing the position of the indirect object. Then we added to or for. Of course, here in this example, we added to. So number 1, my friend told me a great joke. My friend told me a great joke. So number 1 is, yes, my friend told a great joke to me. My friend told a great joke to me. I received the joke, then I laughed. Number 2, the boy wrote his mother a poem. The boy wrote his mother a poem. Yes, the boy wrote a poem for his mother. So his mother here is the indirect object. The direct object is the poem. The boy wrote a poem for his mother. Number 3, my grandfather's neighbor buys him groceries whenever he is sick. Number 3, my grandfather's neighbor buys him groceries whenever he is sick. So the first thing here is try to locate the indirect object, then change the position. Yes, my grandfather's neighbor buys groceries for him whenever he is sick. Of course, him here is referring to my grandfather. The prosperous old woman gave the charity a fortune. The prosperous old woman gave the charity a fortune. Excellent. The prosperous old woman gave a fortune to the charity. So the charity is the indirect object, and we use to because they received the fortune from the old woman. Number 5, my parents threw me a dinner banquet when I graduated. My parents threw me a dinner banquet when I graduated. Yes, my parents threw a dinner for me when I graduated. My parents threw a dinner for me. So I benefited from them when I graduated. Use the verb or phrase in the parenthesis to write each sentence a different way using the subjunctive. Use the verb or phrase in the parenthesis to rewrite each sentence a different way using the subjunctive. But before we indulge in this exercise, let's learn and have a peek about the subjunctive here. The subjunctive, we use the subjunctive to stress the importance or the urgency of an action. So we use the subjunctive to stress the importance and the urgency, to show you that this is an emergency here. You have to do it as quickly as possible. We use the subjunctive here to stress the importance or the urgency of an action. The subjunctive uses the base form of a verb. When you want to put a verb, the thing that I want you to do now, use the base form. Don't add anything else. For example, here, the manager insisted that he work late. The manager insisted. So this is a subjunctive here. Insisted. It means that he wants me to do it now. The manager insisted that he work late. He work late. Notice the verb work here is in the base form. We didn't add ed, we didn't add ing, so it's in the base form. It is important that you be at the meeting. It is important that you be at the meeting. So it is important. This is me showing you the urgency, the importance that you be at the meeting. Again, the example here, it is important that you be at the meeting. Notice the verb here, be, is the base form. The subjunctive is used with certain verbs and expressions like the following: ask, demand, insist, recommend, request, require, suggest, urge, and you can say also it is essential, it is imperative, it is important, it is necessary. So all of these show you the importance, the urgency of the situation. The subjunctive follows the sentence the pattern. This is how you write the subjunctive form. Verb or expression plus that plus the subject plus the base form in the negative or the affirmative form. Again, we use the verb or the expression, then we write the word that, then we put the subject, then we write the verb in the base form. Here are some examples here. It is essential that you dress appropriately. It is essential, this is the expression, that, you can see it here, you, this is the subject, dress, this is the base form of the verb, then we continue by the word appropriately. She asked, this is the verb, she asked that we, this is the subject, not be late. She asked that we not be late. So it is important that you understand this lesson. This is the subjunctive here. It is important that you, this is the subject here, understand, this is the verb, this lesson. It is important that you understand this lesson. So now that you've understood the lesson, let's continue with the exercise here. The first one is already done for you as an example. You should put on sunscreen before lying out in the sun. You should put on sunscreen before lying out in the sun. And the subjunctive here, recommend. The subjunctive here is recommend. So how do we rewrite it? You say, I recommend that you put on sunscreen before lying out in the sun. Again, I recommend that you put on sunscreen before lying out in the sun. So let's do the first one now. Number one, you must take this medication every day to get rid of the infection. You must take this medication every day to get rid of the infection, and you say it is essential. So this is the pharmacist or the doctor is telling you to take this medication every day to get rid of the infection, and it is essential, it is necessary. So how do we rewrite this sentence using the subjunctive? It is essential. Number one, yes, we say it is essential that you pay attention to the order here, as we took previously. It is essential, this is the subjunctive, that and you, the subject, then you continue with the base form and on with the sentence. Again, it is essential that you take this medication every day to get rid of the infection. Very good. Number two, supporters of organic farming say farmers should not use pesticides on their crops. Again, supporters of organic farming say farmers should not use pesticides on their crops, and the subjunctive suggest. The subjunctive here suggest. It is not as urgent as it is essential. They are just suggesting here. So how do we rewrite this sentence? Very good. We say supporters of organic farming suggest that farmers not use pesticides on their crops. Excellent. Number 3, my mother tells people to take off their shoes before they enter our house, as all our mothers do. And the subjunctive insist. The subjunctive insist. Again, my mother tells people to take off their shoes before they enter our house, to keep the carpet clean, of course. So, will you say, my mother insists? Yes, excellent. My mother insists that people take off their shoes before they enter our house. My mother insists that people. My mother insists that people take off. This is the verb here, the base form verb. Take off their shoes before they enter our house. Continuing here with number 4. When I have a dinner party, I tell each guest to bring an appetizer or a dessert. And the subjunctive, the verb is ask. I ask people to do something. So, yes, when I have a dinner party, I ask that each guest bring an appetizer or a dessert. Excellent. Again, when I have a dinner party, I ask that each guest bring on an appetizer or a dessert. Number 5, if you want to conserve water, you should not leave the water running when you brush your teeth. And the subjunctive here is it is important. If you want to conserve water, if you want to save water, you shouldn't leave the water running when you brush your teeth. So when you brush your teeth, close the water tap. So, and it is important. Of course, saving water here is important. So how do we rewrite this sentence using the subjunctive? It is important. Excellent. Let's see the answer here. If you want to conserve water, it is important that you not leave the water running when you brush your teeth. Excellent. Number 6, the viewers wanted the TV station to broadcast the program again. The viewers wanted the TV station to broadcast the program again, and the subjunctive request. When you request something, it means that you want it. Request. It is not essential, you just request for it. Yes, you say the viewers requested that the TV station broadcast the program again. The viewers requested that the TV station, this is the subject here, then the verb broadcast, the main verb here, the base form, the program again. Excellent. The next exercise here, write a sentence that each person might say to the other using I'd like you plus the infinitive, or I want you plus the infinitive. I'd like you plus the infinitive, or I want you plus the infinitive. But before we continue with this exercise, we have to take a peek on the grammar regarding this exercise. I'd like you plus the infinitive, or I want you plus the infinitive. First of all, the infinitive is to plus the base form. To plus the base form. I'd like you to go. I'd like you to sit. So to sit, to go. This is, here is the infinitive form. To plus the base form. So again, 2 common phrases used to express a desire. A desire that someone do something are I'd like you plus the infinitive, and I want you plus the infinitive. The key word here is desire. When you desire something, when you want someone to do something, you use these expressions. I'd like you to sit, or I want you to sit. For example here, I'd like you to help with this project. I'd like you to help with this project. Or you say, I want you to finish the report this afternoon. I want you to finish the report this afternoon. So getting back to our exercise, you see the first one is already done for you. A customer to a tailor. A customer to a tailor. Of course, the answers could vary. These are my answers here. You can write whatever you want. What would a customer request or want a tailor to do? You can say, I'd like you to shorten these pants about an inch. I'd like you to shorten these pants about an inch. So this is the example here. So what would a dentist say to a patient? A dentist to a patient. What would the dentist would like the patient to do or want the patient to do? Of course, you can have your answer, but my answer here is, I want you to floss every day. The dentist said to the patient, I'd like you, or you can say I want you, both are correct, to floss using the string every day. Or you can say, he said, I want you to brush your teeth every day, and etc. Number 2, a therapist to a client. A therapist to a client. What would a therapist want a client to do? Yes, but my answer here is, I'd like you to keep a journal of your feelings. I'd like you to keep a journal of your feelings, to write your feelings down the journal. Number 3, a lawyer to a witness. A lawyer to a witness of a crime. What would a lawyer ask a witness? Yes, he said, I want you to tell me everything that happened, because as a witness, he saw what happened. The lawyer would say, I want you to tell me, or he would say, I'd like you to tell me everything that happened. Excellent. A manager to a salesperson. The manager of the store to the salesperson. What would he want him to do? Yes, he would say, I'd like you to talk to the customers more. Try to interact with the customers. I'd like you to talk to the customers more. A father to a teenage son. A father to a teenage son, giving him advice. Yes, I want you to do more chores around the house. I want you, or he would say, I would like you to help more around the house. Last one here, a photographer to a person being photographed. A photographer to a person being photographed. Yes, I'd like you to stand over here. He would say, I would like you to stand over here. Next here, circle the correct verb forms. Sometimes both gerund and the infinitive forms are correct. So we're talking about gerund here. Let's take a peek of the gerund. Gerunds are the ing form of a verb. The ing form of a verb, going, sleeping, sitting, etc. They act like nouns and answer the question, what? They act like nouns, even though they are verbs. And they answer the question, what? For example here, I recommend turning off the lights when you leave the room. Our class enjoys learning about ways to help the environment. So I recommend turning off. So this is a gerund here, acting as a noun. Our class enjoys learning. We use gerunds after certain verbs. So we use gerunds after certain verbs. For example here, advise, begin, can't stand, consider, continue, enjoy, finish, go, hate, imagine, and etc. When you say, I enjoy swimming, swimming here is a gerund. It's a verb acting as a noun. I enjoy swimming. I enjoy playing football, and so on. So circle the correct verb forms. Sometimes both the gerund and the infinitive forms are correct. We enjoy watching or to watch silly game shows. Yes, we enjoy watching because of the verb enjoy. The verb enjoy, the verb after it has to be a gerund. We enjoy watching silly game shows. Number 2, did you agree helping or to help her plan the dinner? Yes, excellent. To help her plan the dinner. This is here an infinitive. After working for the company for 8 years, he has finally decided to get or getting a different job. Excellent. To get a different job. The gardener, number 4 here, the gardener is going to quit using or to use pesticides on his vegetables. To quit using. Yes, to quit using. Excellent. Number 5, I'm only planning to stay or staying here for an hour or 2. Planning, yes, to stay. Planning to stay. We can't have 2 INGs one after another. I avoid, number 6, I avoid buying, to buy products that have a lot of packaging. I avoid, yes, buying. Avoid is one of the verbs that comes before the gerund. Number 7, when did you start to notice or noticing the symptoms? So here is, yes, both are correct. You can use the infinitive form or the gerund form. My supermarket just stopped using or to use plastic bags. Notice the verb stopped. Yes, excellent. You use the gerund here. Stopped using plastic bags. Number 9, after winning the grand prize in racing, he needed learning or to learn to relax and take it easy. He needed, yes, to learn to relax and take it easy. Last one here, I keep having a dream about taking an exam that I'm not prepared for. Maybe this is a nightmare. So continuing here with the next exercise, look at the pictures, write a short paragraph about Dave and Jassim. Use the verbs from the box plus the gerund or infinitive. Avoid, we have the verbs here, avoid, enjoy, keep, plan, prefer, learn, intend, and decide. And you see the picture here, you see here Dave and Jassim. You can choose with whatever verb here plus the gerund. And remember that the ing form is also used in progressive verb forms. Charlie is playing computer games. This is progressive. Charlie is playing. I prefer watching. This is a gerund. Try to differentiate between the gerund and the progressive. We'll continue playing the game after dinner. This is a gerund. Our team is playing another game on Saturday. This is a progressive. The teacher is giving. This is a progressive also. She considered giving the exam next week. This is a gerund. So coming back to the exercise here, Dave, you can say, for example, Dave avoids sleeping late so he can get up early and go to college. He enjoys drinking coffee. From the picture as you see here, he enjoys drinking coffee before his lectures start so he can keep focusing through the day. So you can use some of these in the paragraph. The next one here is Jassim. You can say Jassim prefers to study alone. He intends to graduate with the highest grades. He plans to get the highest degree to get his dream job. And with that, we reach the end of this lesson. See you next lesson, inshallah. Subhanakallahumma bihamdik. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum.